Good morning, Craig here, 4th of February. Just finished Act 1.4 as part of Phase 4 planning, and it was really good. The mornings are just such a good time. um, it's just when the brain thinks much more better than the other times of the day. So it's good. I'm back into the morning schedule of things, which is excellent. And I was really happy with the way that the micro scenes all panned out for the scenes that I put together for this for Act 1.4 as part of this phase of outline planning. Trying to think about what I was going to say. One thing was that this actually relates to yesterday. In phase 2, I had put down that I would include a particular anecdote that one of the characters tells as they're walking past a post office building, and I just sort of put this in phase 2. I put just include post office anecdote here, and that's a reference to a book that I tried to write a couple of years ago, probably more than a couple of years ago now, and it had a post office anecdote, and I remember being quite fond of it at the time, and I can't even remember actually. I mean, I guess when I was doing phase 2 planning like a month ago, I must have just thought the post office is here, this would be a good chance to use the anecdote. And I don't know if I really gave a huge amount of consideration as to what the implications of it would be, because it was so early on in the novel that I didn't know what was to come. I just knew that I had something that worked previously near a post office, and the characters were near a post office again, so I just said insert anecdote here. And this morning when I sat down to write, I was thinking about that anecdote and thinking, well, I better find it, and I better work out exactly what it was, because I could remember vaguely the intent of it, but not really the broader implications. And so I found it, and which was very lucky that I could find it, because I know I've got a printed version of this thing that I tried to write in the library, but I didn't know if I had a digital copy. But luckily I had that particular part, and I read through it, and I thought, absolutely, this is such a good fit. A different fit than maybe I originally understood it would be, but I just wrote some notes in the phase 4 micro scene planning for where the anecdote's going to appear, and it just makes really good sense now, and it gives more of a sense of depth to that particular character that is needed, and I didn't know that would be the vehicle to do it. So that felt part of my morning brain work. I don't know, like last night I was just like, just put it in, and this morning when I reflected on it, I thought, yeah, that's really cool. So that was a good success for the morning. Other good successes were just the having a bit more patience as well, because it's a Sunday morning and I've got more time to think. And I had some really good little ideas to extend some of the parts of the scenes that I wrote out and planned this morning, that I think are going to just give a little more carriage to what some of the characters are thinking backwards and forwards about certain things. So yeah, it was really nice. It does, I mean, like I was saying yesterday about, is it just different for the sake of being different, or new and it's better, like when you do these edits on things that you had sort of initially planned a month ago. And I think, I mean, this morning I've definitely improved on things. It's definitely not different for the sake of different. It's taking what was there and doing what needs to happen to make it into a more full product. But it does make me nervous about, again, how much should I be doing that at all turns, and the interest in sort of data mapping some of this stuff to say, okay, Sunday morning, good night's sleep, good breakfast, sunlight glowing, patient planning instead of, rushed in a hotel room of a morning, or rushed because you've got a lot of work to get on with, or evening and you're just trying to squeeze something in so you don't miss writing for a day. What's the quality of thoughts this morning compared to the other days? Is it just an illusion that I think it's better, or is it actually better because of all those other sort of contextual things in place? Part of me thinks it's all going to average out in the draft, to not put too much weight on this at the moment. There is a certain amount of just building bricks of Lego, and while I might have a slightly different way of putting the Lego bricks together this morning than I did, say, yesterday evening, the end result is that it's still building a house, and the plan is still the same. And when it comes time to do all the furnishings and all that other stuff, that's really what's going to matter. And there is room for drafting and redrafting and all the rest. So not to beat myself too much up about whether the standard deviation of a Sunday morning patient writing session is a huge degree higher than a rushed hotel room session. At this stage, because the novel is planned out as it is, I don't think I'm really doing myself too much of a disservice at just because what's the alternative? And the alternative is to not write on some of those days where it feels a bit more rushed and there's not as much time, or it's a particular time of day where I'm a bit more tired than I am of a morning, but then the novel doesn't get written because you just think I won't write on this day. And I think if you don't write on that one day, you won't feel the need to write the next day, and then a week goes by. And I've got weeks coming up, fortnights coming up of just constant travel, and if I had that instinct to not think it's necessary to write each day, this is the danger of projects not being completed. So I guess what I'm saying is it's better to write every day, even if your mind is not in a perfect place to do the best Proustian sort of prose considerations that you can come up with. It's better to at least put fingers on keys and put words on paper, rather than think I'm just going to wait for those perfect Sunday mornings where you've got all the time in the world. I guess time will tell as to what the correct answer is there. But as for me, that's my Sunday morning coming to a close. Thank you for watching, and I will be back tomorrow morning. I'll see you then.